Very good morning to all of you. So we are ready to go live. Now we can proceed further.
Hello and welcome to everyone. This is Unnat Bharat Abhiyan webinar series. Today our topic is understanding various modes of tribal development, protecting their indigenous culture from external influence. So Unnat Bharat Abhiyan is coordinated by NCI National Coordinating Institutes of IIT Delhi. Now this program will be facilitated by our RCI team, Regional Coordinating Institutes, IIT Jammu. So, Professor Ria Bhaumik will address welcome notes. Then Dr. Anjana Sharma, she will coordinate and moderate this webinar series. So, you are welcome, Professor Ria Bhaumik and Dr. Anjana Sharma.
Thank you,
And
sir. Thank you. Good morning.
Over to you, Professor Ria Bhaumik. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for introducing me. Yes, let me start the address. So good morning to all the esteemed guests and the participants present here with us. I am Dr. Ria Bhaumik. I'm working as an assistant professor in civil engineering. I got my PhD degree from IIT Delhi only in 2019. After that, I joined here. I am also working as a participating institution coordinator of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. So IIT Jammu right now works both as a PI and an RCI presently. And it is my honor and privilege to welcome you all to the 7th series of talk on understanding the various modes of tribal development, protecting the indigenous culture from external influences. First of all, I would like to applaud the vision and mission of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan to not only provide a platform to connect the rural and indigenous communities with the institutes of higher education, but also to actively provide technological and societal intervention for their holistic development. Continuing this goal, UBA IIT Delhi, who also works as a national coordinating institute, is now actively fostering a dialogue for tribal development while protecting these communities from external influences, all the while enabling them to become self-reliant with sustainable practices. Meanwhile, this dialogue actually is a two-way track. So it is also enabling us to get exposure to their distinct and colorful culture. This present series of webinars is also more relevant for the UTs of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, where tribal population constitutes a major part. As much as I know, I think 90% of the population of Ladakh is constituted by the tribal population. Tribal population of the Jammu and Kashmir actually is among the nascent tribal groups joining the mainstream of planned development to which they have been brought up, and they form a distinct and colorful cultural variety. In fact, a few of our faculty members from the HSS, Humanities and Social Science department, they are actively working with the local tribal population to understand and to provide, a developmental platform for them. Tribes like Gujars, the Pakarwas, the Gaddi, the Sippi, Bota, Balti, Champa, among others, they form a distinct and unique part of our local culture. Since the economy is closely linked with the forest, so many a times, they also form a part of the nomadic population. And that's why they also get deprived of the basic education and job opportunities and kind of depend on primitive mode of livelihood. So let us hope that the continued series of dialogue enable us to, develop a society which offers a conducive and stimulating atmosphere for their growth and development in a safe and protective environment while ensuring that they get a dignified life to live. To talk more about this, we have with us today two esteemed guests, Dr. Junaid Zazif from Department of Environmental Science, Government Postgraduate College, Rajouri, and Mr. Stanzin Dorjaigia, founder of Himalayan Film House in LA. I welcome you all. I welcome you both heartily to our program today, sir. Today's session will be moderated by Dr. Anjana Sharma, who is a PI coordinator of UPA from GGM Science College, Jammu. And I wholeheartedly appreciate Dr. Anjana's effort. She is actually among the most active coordinators who are working who are working as a participating institutions under the RCI of IIT Jammu. I always see her like she's always continually, putting some effort in creating a connection. So her efforts in developing the societal and environmental connect is praiseworthy. With this, I hand it over to Dr. Anjana. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, Dr. Riya, ma'am. I really appreciate the words matters a lot to me. A very good morning to everyone present here. I talked to Captain Anjana Sharma as an associated NCC officer also from the two JNK Girls Battalion NCC. And besides Unnat Bharat Abhiyan and my NCC activities, I'm just trying to club all these activities so that something better should be there with my cadets, with my college, and with my NCC also. So today's guest, Dr. Junaid Jazeb, he has done PhD in EVS and he's working as assistant professor and also heading the department of EVS, PG College, Rajouri, JNK. And his experience is teaching and research experiences more than of 10 years. And he also published the 2 books on environment, and he has published also several research papers in the international and national journals. So he is also contributing, writes up on environmental issues in all the reputed papers, genres, short stories also, poetries and Urdu also. We are very privileged to have you with us today for this. He will be delivering topic on tribals in J&K, present scenario, problems and prospect. So I welcome you on behalf of NCI UV and IIT Jammu RCI to just start this session, sir. Dr. Junaid, sir.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Please.
Yes, sir, you're very much
Yes,
audible.
yes.
Thank you, ma'am, and a very morning to all of you. Can you please show my PPT at your end? Is it possible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Just
yes,
one
sir. You
second.
have to send it to.
No, I'll
or
share.
you will share it from there.
I'll share.
Yes, sir.
Just,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So please.
I guess it's visible to all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'll discuss
Make it
about
slideshow, sir. Make it slideshow.
it's play slide.
Yeah, yeah.
Slideshow, yes. Yes. Thank you. I'll discuss about the scheduled tribes of Jammu and Kashmir. I have arranged my presentation in order to first give a brief introduction about various tribal groups present here in Jammu and Kashmir, their population, distribution, and a bit about their socio-economic status also. Then I'll try to focus on nomadic Gujars who constitute the main tribal group. I mean, they form above 90% of all the tribal population in the UT, and also the third largest ethnic group after Kashmiris and Dogras in the state, Union Territory. Their indigenous character, socio-cultural setup, socio-economic status, eco-friendly culture, and the challenges they are facing in a fast and ever-changing world. So here I proceed with my Am I audible? Please confirm.
Yes, now
Yes,
you are
sir.
audible.
Please.
Yeah, now sir, you are audible.
Thank you. This is the population as per 2011 census. There are these four tribes present in Jammu and Kashmir. They were given scheduled tribe status in late 80s or early 90s, 1991, in fact, and are given certain benefits like reservation in employment, educational institutions, educational scholarship, and certain other incentives. This is the right side table shows the percentage of these tribal groups in different districts. This is about entire districts, including Ladakh area. These 4 groups include Shina, Gaddi, and Sippi, and 3 groups, Gujjar and Bakarwals. Next slide, please. Shina, they actually belong to Dardik ethnic group, which is also spread across the LOC and in POK areas. And they are also present in Dras area of Kargil district, which is not part of Jammu and Kashmir now. Hello.
Yeah, yes,
Sir,
sir, you're audible.
please go ahead.
Okay, there's, I think at my place,
The
there's
network problem is there.
network
Yeah,
problem.
network problem.
In Jammu and Kashmir, the population of Shina is restricted to Gurez Valley of Bandipur district in Kashmir. This valley remains cut off from rest of the world for at least 6 to 7 months of winters every year. And the only available transportation to Srinagar or elsewhere in the country in extreme cases is through helicopter service, often offered by the Indian Army. Now, a small group of by population, they have their own culture, their own traditions, and a language called Shina, the same name. You can see the traditional house. This picture shows the main center of Gurez Valley. On the left side, this is a picture of a cultural event organized in Gurez Valley. Their houses are mostly made of wood and mud. Now they have started building pakka houses also, but mud and wooden huts still predominate in the area. Their population is about 31,000 individuals. Next slide, please. Second important group is Gaddi and Sippi. They are collectively Gaddi and Sippi. They are related like we have Gujars, major group and subgroup Bakarwals. Likewise, we have Gaddis and a subgroup Sippi. They are the same tribe found in Himachal Pradesh and other areas. They are semi-pastoral and agriculture practicing Indo-Aryan group. In Jammu and Kashmir, they are found in Udhampur, Kathua, and Bhadrawa districts of the UT. Some of them rear sheep, while others are now settled agriculturists. Their population, as per certain estimates, and also as per 2011 census, is 40,000 plus. Now, moving towards the main group, which constitute more than 90% of the entire tribal population of Jammu and Kashmir. They are Gujars. Next slide, please. But Gujjar has different origins as per the views of different researchers. Most likely, two theories are there presented by different researchers. One is this word has been derived from 2 words, Gur and Ujjar. These 2 words are from Sanskrit origin, and this means destroyer of enemy. Another theory says that this word Gujjar is derived from 2 words, Gau Char, which actually means those who rear cow and other livestock. There are many other theories also, but these are most accepted theories about their name, where they have derived this name, Gujjar. There is significant population of Gujars in Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, UP, Delhi, MP, and Rajasthan. But Gujars in Jammu and Kashmir, although share strong emotional link with their brothers in other parts of the country, but they have cultivated and retained an altogether different character in Himalayan states like Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. They live completely a nomadic and pastoralist lifestyle in this region. It's believed that Gujars have migrated to different parts of undivided India from Gujarat. They are also believed to have reached this region, North Indian region, particularly Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh from Rajasthan around 11th century. Gujars constitute the third largest ethnic group after Kashmiris and Dogras in Jammu and Kashmir. The total ST population, including other two groups I have mentioned already, Shina and Gaddi and Sipi, is told to be 15 lakh as per 2011 census. And it constitutes about 11.9% of the erstwhile state's total population. But Gujars claim their number much higher than this figure. They argue that more than 6 lakh people were not enumerated properly because they were in upper reaches of the northwestern Himalayas during seasonal migration when the census held. They are present all over the UT in every district without an exception, but the population is more concentrated along Pir Panjal mountain range. They are concentrated on its southern slope in Rajouri and Poonch area and on northern slope of Pir Panjal towards Kashmir Valley. Rajouri district has the highest population of Gujars, followed by Poonch, then Riasi, and then Anantnag district in Kashmir Valley. Seasonal migration is an almost essential characters, but those having small holdings of agricultural land or government job or small business enterprises, they now have adopted a settled lifestyle. Otherwise, most of them stay for 5 to 6 months of winters in lower plains near Jammu, Udhampur, and in Poonch and Rajouri, Nowshera areas, these plains, and spend 6 to 7 months in spring and summer in higher reaches. They remain moving in the Western Himalaya, Northwestern Himalaya, migrating up to Gurez, Dras, and even up to Kargil in Ladakh, along with their livestock, that is goats and sheep, and sometimes also they take their cattle along with them. They have very good relation with Gujars in other parts of the country. All Gujars, irrespective of their religious affiliations, it is to be noted here that more than 99% of Gujars in Jammu and Kashmir are Muslims. But all Gujars, irrespective of their religious affiliations or region, share almost similar gotras or sub-caste all across the country and even abroad. This factor also plays a role in their emotional binding among themselves. Usually people of same gotra or clan stay at a place together, and they also move together while seasonal migrations. There is no restriction of marriages within their own gotra. Next slide, please. Now, a word about their indigenous characters. They have developed a particular indigenous character, and particularly in this region. They have retained links with all Gujars outside the state and in Rajasthan, Delhi, and adjoining areas. But they have their evolved a unique culture here in Jammu and Kashmir and in Himachal Pradesh and in Uttarakhand as well. Gujars in Jammu and Kashmir are, as also in neighboring Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and Punjab, has a rich culture. They have preserved their language known as Gojri, which is linguistically very close to Rajasthani and Gujarati. Different dialects of Gojri are spoken in different areas, slightly vary from one another, but they can be understood easily. The language or dialect spoken in twin districts of Rajouri and Poonch is believed to be the standard dialect, and that is also the recognized dialect in official records of Jammu and Kashmir Academy of Art, Culture and Languages. It is one of the recognized languages of the state and is covered in its 6th schedule. There is a full-fledged section of Gojri language in Jammu and Kashmir Academy of Art, Culture and Languages. J&K School Board of Education has now started teaching Gojri in government schools located in areas predominantly populated by the community. There are several private organizations working for promotion of language, literature, and their culture. A good amount of modern literature is also produced in Gojri, in addition to their folk literature. There has been a strong demand from the community for inclusion of Gojri language in 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Now they are about a bit about their culture, their foundings. Maize is the staple food of Gujars. They fondly eat makki ki roti with various wild and homegrown saag and lassi. They're also very fond of milk and milk products, and all these are homemade, like ghee, butter, kaladi, cheese, etc. Many of them still wear their handmade ethnic dresses. Ladies wear a beautiful, you can see this lady in the picture. They wear a beautiful and colorful handmade cap that is long on backside and embroidered. Uniquely braided hairs are still common in some areas. As I also already mentioned, in Jammu and Kashmir, Gujars are mostly Muslim. 99% of them are Muslim by faith, but though they are overtly monotheistic in their faith, but they are actually very superstitious and have very close intimacy with nature, and often attach sanctity and supernatural powers with natural objects like lakes, rivers, and even with the certain trees, mountain peaks, nalas, and even with pastures. They are in a way nature worshippers. Marriage is more like a cultural event for them, and they sing, dance, and perform certain indigenous rituals on the event in their unique style. Bharat is an essential part. The groom leaves his place with sort of a procession, having dozens of other accompanying him on foot or riding horses. Groom attired in their colorful traditional dress is always on horse. Number of individuals who accompany Bharat depends on the affordability of the host. It could be 20 to 30 persons, or sometimes even hundreds. It depends on the economic status of the family. On the route towards the bride house, they are interrupted at every locality or dera where groom is offered with specially prepared milk. Bride is brought home in a specially designed dolly and is offered gift when she reaches at her in-laws. She is offered gifts which essentially includes dresses, some handmade products, goats, sheep, and buffaloes, etc. They have their own sort of court system that is known as jirga. It's a well-established community court where all disputes except serious crimes are settled among themselves. Mostly they observe all Muslim festivals, and in addition to all the Muslim festivals, they have also retained several Hindu customs and festivals like Lodi, Diwali, Sakrand, and many other festivals are celebrated in a with similar enthusiasm. They follow Desi calendar known as Bikrami calendar. They strictly follow that Bikrami calendar, and all activities, sowing and harvesting of crops, seasonal moments, migrations, these all are planned as per this Desi or Bikrami calendar. As they are very close to nature, they often attach supernatural powers to certain trees, particular species, mountain peaks, as I have already mentioned, lakes, and sometimes also offer sacrifices in their names, in name of lakes and all other. They offer sweets, they offer milk and milk products, they offer even they sacrifice their goats and sheep sometimes. Their knowledge about silviculture of trees is just awesome. They can tell age of a tree by just seeing it. Using parts of herbs and trees for various purposes is a daily routine for them. And it is this knowledge that help them deal with various ailments in areas where no doctor, no medicine, no precautions are actually workable. And how judiciously they make use of natural resources is wonderful. I would like to just quote here one example of coke. We call it locally ree, balut, carcass. We have different species of carcass, and these forests are scattered all around this side of Pir Panjal, from Jammu to Rajouri Poonch area. Carcass semicarpifolia species are another species of oak, Carcass leucotrichophora. We can take example of this, or for that matter, any other species. For example, oak. Generally, people know it's 1, 2, or 3 uses, but they use it for fodder. Its leaves are used for fodder for their livestock. Its wood is used for timber, for construction works. It is also planted for live fence in their small marginal forms. It is also used for fuel wood, and its bark, no part of it is wasted. Its bark is used to make a special chai, a very special chai. They often, and it's also, this chai is also used for certain ailments also. Its roots are used for medicinal purposes, and its catkins, small globulous fruit of oak, is given to sheep and goats for stomach problems. I can cite many other examples. For example, Pinus roxburghi. We can generally people use it for resin or one or two other uses, but they use it for fuel, for timber, and its stem is excellently used for lighting purposes. And its needles, which otherwise is a very cumbersome wastage, they use these needles for roofing purposes, and its cones are used for ornamental purposes. Many other, almost all species, they use, for example, Grevia optava, we call it dhamman. They use every part of this species also. They use its leaves for fodder. This is a uh, very desirable species for fodder purposes. Its bark is used for making fiber and ropes, which are extensively used in their daily day-to-day activities. And the branches from where the bark is removed, these branches are excellently used for lighting purposes in areas where no electricity or even kerosene oil is not available. This great knowledge needs to be appreciated and preserved. So this is a bit about their indigenous character, their culture, and their ethnobiological knowledge and traditions and practices. Now moving towards their socio-cultural and economic setup, please. Next slide. Hello. Thank you.
Yes, okay.
Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir, it's going well.
Okay, there's a network problem in my area. On the basis of their lifestyle, the Gujars are divided in 3 major groups. These are Mukami Gujars. They are sometimes also semi-nomadic, means they have permanent residential houses, but when they face shortage of food or fodder or water for their livestock, they move to other areas. So they are in a way semi-nomadic. Then there are Dodi Gujars or Baniharas. They are nomadic, and sometimes they are also semi-nomadic, but they are nomadic and they move towards higher reaches in search of good pastures and fodder for their livestock. They normally rear buffaloes. And then fully nomadic group, that is Bakawals. Mukami Gujars are primarily agriculturalists. they are settled and have stopped practicing nomadism. Almost, they have stopped it. They have small and marginal forms. Literacy is better among this group, Mukami Gujars, as compared to other two groups. They are better in literacy, but still not equal to other sections of the society. They have settled, but have retained their cultural practices, their language, and almost all rituals of their own. Banyaras they are semi-nomadic or sometimes nomadic, but they do not or partly they may be agriculturists, but predominantly they rear buffaloes and sell milk and milk products. They rear cattle. They are sometimes they are semi-pastoralists, means some practice seasonal migration and others do not practice it. Bakarwals are 100% seasonal migrants. They remain on move most of their life. In winters, they stay at lower altitudes in Jammu areas, in Udhampur, in Rajouri and Poonch districts. And in summer, they move to higher altitudes in search of pastures for their sheep and goats and horses. And as I have already mentioned, they even move towards Gurez Valley, across the valley of Kashmir, and up to this Dras and Kargil areas in Ladakh. All the groups of Gujars are economically unsound, and a majority of them live below poverty line. Basic amenities of life are lacking in their areas. Those who are settled in villages are a bit better and are marginal farmers, but generally do not have sufficient land resources to support themselves and their livestock. They practice traditional agriculture with low productivity and conventional crops. Banyaras or Dodi Gujars who sell milk for survival do not do it on commercial basis. They just survive by selling milk and milk products, and which cannot help them to lead a comfortable life. As nomads and bakarwals, they lead miserable life throughout their year. They face all sorts of problems during migration, during stay at lower altitudes, the plethora of problems. Next slide. Now a bit about their educational status. These figures tell about the deplorable situation of their education. They are least education lot in the entire country as well as state. We have national literacy as per 2011 census is 73%, and national literacy among tribals is 59%. But in state, literacy among tribals is 50%, and among Gujars it is below 40%. Especially if talking of Gujars, it is not even 50%. Women literacy rate is, you can see, it is too deplorable. This is on right side. This table shows slight improvements from 2001 to 2011 in literacy, but still Gujars, they stand at the lowest. This is a deplorable educational scenario. In next slide, I have this video short clip. Please, if you can play it for 1 minute only, then this will show there are mobile schools. The government have opened mobile schools for these nomads. These schools are on move. They move. The teachers move along with these communities. Please play the video.
We will play the video at the last because no, this is current running PPT. So if you say we can play at the last. Is it fine?
If you can play, it will.
No, it
Okay.
will not work. Like, no, sound
Online
will
it
not
will
come.
not
So,
work, sir. This time it will
Okay.
not
Okay.
work.
Okay.
Please
yeah.
send the link this video to WhatsApp to sir, please. He will play it at
Okay.
the
Okay.
last. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
WhatsApp.
It will
first,
solve the
first you
problem.
complete the no PPT part, and then at the last I'll play.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now, then move to the next slide. About assimilation, all tribal groups in general and Gujars of the state in particular are very hesitant to assimilate with the rest of the society. And one reason for this hesitation to involve with mainstream is their own conservativeness, and the other is the discrimination they face almost everywhere, even today. The mainstream society look down upon them. There is a Kashmiri proverb which means if you encounter a bear and a Gujar at the same time, kill Gujar first and then move towards bear. It shows their state of mind towards downtrodden Gujars. So they remain isolated almost all over the state, despite having their significant presence in every district of the UT. Their population is concentrated in small pockets, which are almost away from urban centers, or even in villages. Their habitations are located on higher slopes. There are no facilities, no basic amenities of life are present. Uh, next slide. Another character that define these tribals is their closeness with nature. As they derive their livelihood from nature, they respect, rather worship nature, and they proudly claim to be part of nature and always tend to conserve it. As I have already discussed in one of the above slides about their ethnobiological knowledge, with which they take care of themselves, take care of their livestock, as well as these forest crops. Words like peer, which means guru, are something sacred. They often associate this word peer with the pastures, with the passes, with mountains, with the water sources, like we have Peer Ki Gali, Peer Marg. This is their psychological state of mind. They have deep rooted respect for nature. Water sources are always sacred for them. They never allow unnecessary tree felling. Wastage of water is believed to be a crime among them. While collecting fodder for their animals, they ensure to not remove all entire foliage of a tree and never cut the apical branch of a tree. This is their own way of conserving nature. Though they rear sheep and goats, but rarely slaughter them for meat. They themselves rarely slaughter them for meat. And it's perhaps their nature connection that they are generally resistant to many common diseases and pathogens. Even in this ongoing menace of COVID, they are the least affected lot, I think. Another interesting aspect that shows their deep-rooted eco-friendliness is that every Gotar or clan associate itself to some plant or animal or other natural object like lake. This is known in their own language in Gojri as Batka, or which means something like root. And that clan specifically conserve and respect that Batka or that root, that plant species or animal, and associate their entire Baradari with that particular species of plant, animal, or even natural object in some cases. Their knowledge, wisdom, and this behavior can be effectively utilized for conservation of nature. Next slide. Now a bit about man problems. Though each aspect of these problems need a separate presentation and separate discussion, but I just want to point out some of them. Generally, they live a life full of challenges. Their problems range from eroding of their culture to lack of basic facilities, health issues, particularly when they are on move in upper reaches of Himalayas, where there is nothing in the name of facility. They remain at mercy of nature there. And in case of some serious sickness or in case of emergency, when their indigenous system of medication doesn't work, a person suffering sickness has to suffer, and in many cases he or she has to die. Climatic adversaries is another challenge that claims their lives, their livestock. All of these aspects actually need separate discussions. Next slide, please. Now, a bit about various prospects, various avenues, various areas through which we can undertake steps for their betterment and improvement in their life. There are good prospects for improving their condition, provided they are properly discovered, and proper planning is required for that. Their own knowledge of nature they live in can be of greater use in this regard. Establishing of their traditional products on commercial basis, dairy products or certain forest products which they collect and sell for their survival can be encouraged and established on commercial basis, which can be of great help for them to improve their condition. Minor forest products can be a good revenue source of revenue for their upliftment. Ecotourism can boost their economy. These are certain areas which can be focused upon for improving their condition. Next slide. So these are aspects which can be focused upon for their inclusive and overall development. Like education, they are very very poor in education, very illiterate. Awareness of all sorts about their rights, about their problems, about how to deal with these problems. This all sort of awareness is very important for them. Another aspect is that their young generation is even unaware of their own value system. Their elders have in-depth knowledge of their surroundings and has a proper system to protect and respect and conserve nature. But new generation, under the influence of modernity, doesn't care about their own nature-oriented value system. So new generation needs to be also aware about their own value system, which was very important for conserving nature. For improving literacy rate among them, special residential schools on the pattern of Navodaya Vidyalaya schools can be launched in tribal areas, and focus should be given on all these points I have just mentioned here, and all these also need special separate discussions. With this, I conclude my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We will have the interactive session afterwards. Sir, we should call the second speaker, or we should wait for something?
Yes. If we have any questions, we can ask to the participants to their questions.
Yeah,
Yes,
Jyoti ma'am, any questions are there? Jyoti ma'am, are there any questions on the YouTube live stream? Or you can post your questions here also in the chat box. I'll just discuss with the sir. Any questions anybody wants to ask? Yeah, we will have the questions afterwards, the interactive sessions. If somebody wants to ask the question, he can put in the chat box also, he or she whoever wants to give. So
Okay, you are welcome.
yeah,
Thank you.
I'll call the, thank you so much, sir. I'll call the second speaker. He's Mr. Stanzen Dorje Gaya. He is from, as I've just gone through yesterday night, the Himalayan Film House and the filmography and all that. So although these technical terms are not in, I'm not in that knowledgeable about these terms, but the filmography, he has started his journey from 2000 onwards, then 2006, then 7. He got so many prizes, awards, and he has basically BA he has done from Jammu University. And then he was with 1994 to 2006, he was associated with SECMOL, that is School Students Educational and Cultural Movement of Ladakh, where he learned so many things about the visual medium, and he maybe this got this fascination by the camera and the filmmaking through that segment too. And he made this his life as passion, as photography, and then the camera and the filmography, all that. He got so many prizes, the number of list is very long. The best documentary award in 2016, then he got the Audience Choice Award, Mountain International Film Festival, Trans 200, 2016 also. And then I would like to play the video for him also. There is a very short documentary he has made yesterday, just at night I gone through. And he basically from the remote village called Gaya. That is why he has added his name Gaya in the last, the surname. So North India, and he is like other children of Gaya village. He is also a semi-nomadic childhood, spending half of the month in the school and half of the month in the mountains with the yaks and Kashmir goats, etc. So he founded the Himalayan Film House in Leh, where he has directed and produced notable feature films and documentaries on regional, national, international issues. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us this much privilege and for sparing your time to be with us for this. So I just want to play a screen, if this allows. I'm going to share the screen. 3 minutes video will be there. Is the screen visible?
No, not yet.
Yeah, okay, thanks. It is coming now, net slow. I'll stop the video, maybe the net issue is there.
If not possible, then you can mail us. I'll play.
Yeah, sir. Wait, it's just coming. It is going on. I'll stop the video and then I'll start to play that. Yeah, it's there.
We can hear the sound, but we cannot see the
Okay, wait.
sorry,
I'll
the
just
video.
put the meeting in the.
Yes, it's visible now. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now I request the sir, he will be going to speak on the topic Ladakh, the place where nature meets mankind because of their indigenous nature. Yes, sir, please start. Yeah, good morning, sir. अनम्यूट सर किया हुआ है शायद आपने. No, you're not audible.
हाँ, unmuted है sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
सर आपका माइक कनेक्टेड नहीं है, आप अपने माइक को एक बार रिकनेक्ट करिए प्लीज.
हाँ सर, म्यूट करके फिर अनम्यूट एक बार कीजिए.
It's audible?
Yes, sir, now it's audible.
Yes,
Okay.
it's audible now. Please.
Thank you so much. I wanted to introduce Ladakh in a little different way. What you all know, as you all know, Ladakh, and it is part of our great nations. It's in India, but more like that, today everybody wanted to go on the moon because so many people are saying Ladakh is a moon land. This is why sometimes I
Sorry
feel.
to interrupt, sir. Can you please unmute your video also, because audience would like to see you.
Okay, yeah?
Yeah. Now great. Now
Yeah,
great.
namaskar, yeah. So, I wanted to introduce my region as like a moonland, as many people also saying that, oh, you are living in the moonland. That's why, many years, many centuries, this region is not known for many peoples. But today, whoever, like for example, like many advanced countries like Japan and France and US and our own countries, everybody wanted to go in the moon and they wanted to make a garden on the moon. The place like Ladakh is the region in Leh. We are already on the moon. But in the moon, we are not only in the moon, we are making not only the beautiful garden on the moon, but we are making beautiful garden on the moon, and then there we live togetherly. There's something very, very friendly with the natures, This is what we call Ladakh. And even in Ladakh, it is a very cold desert. It's very like thin air. Even when you grow a tree, you have to take care like your baby. Otherwise, the tree will not grow. This is how we have to take care a lot. This is how even this place is very little water, very fragile ecosystem, but people are here living very frankly, very happily, very nicely. This is the knowledge, this is the what our great country is given us a schedule, a tribe status. The people here is 90% are we are living. The people who are practicing is the people are the scheduled tribes. This is how I got a opportunity to make, as Ma'am Le was also mentioning, that I got a opportunity to make a several movie on the semi-nomadics, and then the climate change, and then also like in a different the movies that I tried to shoot through this movie. This is what is this region, what is my countries, how we live. This is one of the most important that what I wanted to share you all. So there is a culture which is right now we will not find so many these small details on in books. So many things we are not found in the videos. This is why we have to explore these places, which is one of the most important. Why the types are the three types, the types are important. We have what I wanted to share you all these things are like important is, you know, like the first, if I go to how we live in these small villages, is in the past, when we are living here, there is a few things which is mostly people consider you peoples are the one of the most uncivilized, you know, you peoples are the mountain peoples, you know, you peoples are like, then somehow we got like government of India like giving this education program reaching to the Ladakh, but that make a big changes to Ladakh, you know. For example, like now if you see Ladakh as a like recently in 2005 August we got a union territory also. Like the before that the things like what the indigenous salt and indigenous culture what we have here in Ladakh is something with very connected with the natures, something which is very connected with the people hearts, you know. That is why so many guests from our own countries, from the outside of the countries, for example, from the Japan, from the US, from the France, everybody wanted to come to here. They saying, you left these cultures, you know, this is how you live with the natures, you know. This is, for example, like even few things which is I wanted to share you here is like, you know, living with the lands, you know, how we living with the lands, you know, even we call this the ancient is futures, you know. So for example, we have a social institutions. In this social institution, one very important things we call is the paspun, you know. Paspun is a group of family which you like we have a relatives, for example my cousins, and then we say like we have my uncles or whatever. But more than that, we have a one system here in Ladakh, it called the paspun. The paspun is a social institution where when you have a the dead persons in your family, when you have a birthday ceremony, when you have something problem in your life, so this first spoon, even you in your family, you don't have any singles money. This first spoon take care everything, you know. And these first spoon are remaining for like not only for one like you know times. You know, it is remain one for one life, you know, but it is remain for generation to generation, generation to generation. This is how first spoon system, what I this social institution, what I found is very interesting, you know. That part right now we are little missing because of in some other for example, in if you go to many other cities and many other villages, we don't found this sort of a system in that, you know. And then on the other hand, we have like, you know, because of the very limited resources here in Ladakh, and especially the water is very scarcity in here, you know. And even you have a very small amount of water, but that water you use in such a systematic, with this formula you will won't found any other part of the different part of the many regions, you know. But this is what we call another system we call the churpon, you know. Churpon is a irrigation system which with the small amount of water you can irrigate so many barley field and so many uh, vegetables and so many other things, you know. So this is another which is we are practicing here in Ladakh, you know. And then whatever you may know about this region, many other things also, but the most I wanted to focus on this is the cultures what we have right now and what we are practicing right now, how this is some people start to because of, I'm not against of the modernity, but I wanted to say because of this modernity, because of the some other reason, something is we don't start liking this, you know. This is how I wanted to request everyone that, you know, because of many you know, like many problem what we are facing right now. For example, like I got a opportunity to make this film called The Shepherdess of the Glaciers, well, I'm making this movie, so there is something, so many indigenous knowledges, when we have this, like each family has a around, in my village, for example, in the Gya village, where we have around 300 or 200 Pashmina sheep and goat in each families. When we have these sheep and goat in this family, so when with these sheep and goat are we taking in the mountain, there is a very strong system, which this system is since more than like 700, 800, they are practicing. And even this region, which we call the Gyamiru Valley, there we can survive around 20, sorry, like 8 to 10,000 sheep and goat, Pashmina goats, around 500 yaks, then like 300 horses, all can live in one place together since century, that can live like even in the future also. The now these things are disturbing because of many other things, because of another I should wanted to share you with this, the concept of the education, what we are getting education right now. So this is always, again, we are believing in the Westerner education systems. I still remember, this is how I wanted to our culture influenced by the external influence. This is like I remember like 30 years before, when I was in the school. And then yeah, definitely some are the teachers, they are coming from like, let's say from they are coming from Kashmir, or like maybe from Jammu. They have to travel from Jammu to Ladakh. That time road conditions are very bad, and then our culture is completely different from them, because like what we are living here, because we are consuming very less water. And then when they're coming from that region to coming here, is they take almost more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks by road they are coming. And then who are sending to Ladakh, it is also sometimes as they send as a punishment to Leh, but definitely that time what it happened, that how our cultures are little decreasing because of sometime with the Western education system. So I still remember, when we go to the school, we go with our traditional dresses. When we go with our traditional dress in the school, and then they the some, because of they saying like, oh, don't wearing your traditional dress, because this is a very bad smell. And then what we are eating, because eating one of the very nutritious food, which is we call made by the barley, and very organic foods, and that say sometimes this can be like very bad for your health. And like this, we wanted to tell to these things to our parents. And parents say what our teacher says, it is very important. You have to leave now your days, and you have to go with the modern days, with the jeans, and with the other fashion shoes, and then with the food. That is how sometime when we are in the schools, these things are, when we have a primary education, it is stuck in our head. And then same time we have a language barrier, because we always speaking here in Ladakh, the Budi or Ladakhi we speaking, and that time is so difficult to speak English or Hindi, and then even we are not understanding so well the languages also. And those things are, I think, very important to improve in our education system, not that always we carrying this Western education system, that also like what we sometimes we people are here, we don't like to be in Ladakhi. That is some, today we are always keep telling us, your our youths are unemployment, and you are not living in Ladakh, but this is the sometime because of this Western education system. This is how very important for us, like to in our education system, also in the textbooks we have to read about the elephant. We don't have an elephant here in Ladakh. We have to study about the rain. We don't have a rain here. We have a snow here, and this is how when we have a primary education system, so all these are we have to change, and then someone will like their own cultures and own tradition. That how I feel it is the one of the most important to external influence in our cultures. This is how I request to whoever watching these videos and giving us this opportunity. This is the one of the most important is that this education system textbooks, to change something about on their cultures, not only specialize on the one particular things, what we are learning right now. In the past, what we had experienced, as Ma'am was explaining in the beginning, when I used to in my village, I know that how to we make a shoes from our sheep and goats, and we we know how to make a house from the local marts, and now we are always are specializing with the one things. You have to know only one part. You have not to know all the things. This is how the problem is in this mechanism. That what I felt right now after my educations, what I got it. And these things are sometimes make me very fail in my heart, being a semi-nomadic from this Ladakh, and the same time, this is how another things after we got a union territory of Ladakh, and we are separate from the Jammu and Kashmir, and this is what we are people deeply wanted to thanks to the government of India, because another way what it happened. So definitely when we are not living with our environment, when we are not living with our cultures, and we have to go for a study, maybe for Delhi, Jammu, or whatever, definitely we'll get a good modern education. For example, like we know about the science, we know about the maths, we know about the other things, and then when we are coming back to Ladakh, but then we didn't feel that we are here in Ladakh to wanted to continue our work. And that's why this having this new the colleges, university to Ladakh to have is very important for Ladakh. So this is what the government of India right now doing. That recently our honorable prime ministers and our Sansat also always they wise for the Ladakh, and then we got this opportunity, and then I hope this important culture again preserve, and this is what one important part that I wanted to share, and then definitely when we speak about the regions, the region itself, like there is so many different variety of the food what we growing here, and this is in the last 2-3 decades, if you want to talk about, Ladakh is very sustainable, and because of one is through the education, what the things are right now, what we are be a modern, and we can understand all these things. The second thing is changing of climates, it is really affecting our way of living and our culture also, and this is how in the past we are not facing that big problem with the changing of climates, now more than 3 decades, last 30 years, it is like education also, we are facing with the biggest challenging of the climate change, in 2010, 5th August, again, you won't believe, because we used to have a lots of snow, but we that time we have a unbelievably we have a rain, in the night, in the around night, in the 2 o'clock, there was a big rain, and there is unbelievably around 400 people are dead, so many parents lost their children, so many children lost their parents. And then like in the morning we thought this is not because of the climate change, it's something else. But then in 2012 there is such a peak snow in April and May, almost 20,000 pashmina goats are dead. After that in 2014, and again there is a gulf in a glacier out lake water burst. This again the people are they wanted to be here with their culture, but changing of climate again affect our this place in Ladakh. This is how I wanted to say. It is like there is a mini external influence which is effect to our cultures. This is the problem what we are right now facing with the mini sections. So this is one main problem because of the environment, because of the education, and because of the many other reason. This is how we are feeling sometimes with these unsafe. But the good thing is that because of the Ladakh is now one good thing is the connecting with the by air, connecting with the road, and then especially the especially what we have this the way of living in Ladakh. It is improving because of the many basic facilities that we are getting right now. So this is what I wanted to share you all, and thank you so much. And maybe if you have more questions, yeah.
Yeah, sir, we have questions for Junaid Jazib, sir, also, that do the Gujar get government scheme benefit? Yeah. Stanjin, sir, any questions for Stanjin, sir, specifically, ma'am? Any questions for sir so that I can directly talk to him, speak to him about the questions?
Ma'am, we have
The
some
questions
questions
has
from
been dropped in
Webex
chat box.
message.
Yeah, chat box there, sir, for the Junaid Jazib, sir. It is regarding the tribal. I'm asking specifically for Stanzin, sir.
See, there is a question, how with low water supply the culture has evolved in suitable way. Okay,
Yeah,
please,
sir.
ma'am, go to this Webex chat box.
Okay, fine. That's the how with low water supplies, the culture has evolved in a sustainable way in Ladakh specifically. This question, Stanzin, sir.
Yes, this is one of the biggest challenges we have right now. As Ladakh is all we are dependent on these natural glaciers, meltwater. But last more than 30 years, 1 degrees of increasing in a temperature, and because of increasing in this temperature, the monsoon, Indian great monsoon is also now reaching to the Ladakh also. That what the experts said. Because of that, lots of natural glaciers are right now it is vanishing. And same time, in 30 years, in 3 decades, the 50% of the snow is reduced right now. And what we are having this vanishing the glaciers affecting our agriculture, because Ladakh is again very sowing period is only 3 months. If we don't have a water in April on time, for example, March April on time, and then the sowing period is only June July. In August it again start cold. That's why all the water is melt by the all natural glaciers, Now all this snow line is gone up, because when going up, so water is still melting there, but to reach to through the proper channel to this their field, it is on reach on time. So that how we are facing the scarcity of water, and we can't grow the crops on time.
Yeah, sir. Same question is there for Junaid Jajib sir also, that how the low water supply, the Gujars are surviving there, the culture is evolving there in a sustainable way. Jajib sir, are you there? Uh, Unmute your mic, sir. Junaid sir. Yeah, sir. Sandin sir, I just want to ask questions. Although we are having the Nodal College in Jammu, the GGM Science College, so I'm having so many Ladakhi students who are coming here, staying here as in the PG, in the rent, or their relatives are staying also here. These students, let me tell you, they are very sincere. They are my students are there in NCC also Ladakh, and they are very sincere, very dedicated towards their work or the studies. So I don't understand that why when there you are saying that language barrier is there, the problem is there. So how come they in your this UT they are not getting the English language or the classes in the primary education for the English? Hindi is fine, okay, they are not speaking, but what about English? It has to be there in the schools, the primary education.
Ji ma'am, thank you. But I was speaking, this is let's say 30 years before, when I
Uh-huh.
was in the school, But
Oh,
right now, it is like definitely, ma'am, Ladakhi literacy is almost 90, more than 95%. It is literacy is really very high. Even we have so many the good teachers and good schools. But I was speaking like when I was
yeah, yeah,
in
right,
the
sir. Right.
school,
Mm-hmm.
that time, that result is right now what we are facing right now. Because
Right.
now there is so many youth, we are youths are unemployed. That because we are saying now it is they got a good education, why this is unemployed. And because I was just telling, maybe I'm wrong, but we are still that time. But maybe now our education system are really changing. We have this Western British education system. We're not living in what our great countries have it. In what our education we have that. That education that time we just got it. You have to be a always you have to be a job seeker, not a job maker. So that what we always trying to have uh, one part of specialized. For example, what I was just sharing you, when we were in the village, we know everything, because as even maybe you already visit to Ladakh, ma'am, maybe you know other in with the sources, but Ladakhi house itself has a institution inside. When you are, there is so many learning from your grandparents. There is so many learning from your environment. Because you have everything in you. Or that system we not believe, and then we are only post this Western education, and then now we saying we have a lots of unemployment. That is the result what I felt right now, and that is in my generation. But the new generation got definitely they speak very good Hindi, Urdu, English, and yeah, definitely. I mean, to having modern education, they have to come back and try to do something in their own places also. That what in my period, what we got the education. So that what I was just sharing, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Very correctly mentioned also, and yeah, I must appreciate the students here, the cadets here. They are very dedicated. Although they are very far away from their places, they have to stay here in PG, rented, all that accommodation. But still, then they are very dedicated. Any other question for Senzin, sir? Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for sparing your time and just giving us the privilege. We are so proud to have you here in this webinar. Junaid, sir, are you there? There are questions for you too.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So the question is like the problem of health and nutrition is very common among tribals. So how it can be improved? And the second one is how to improve economic and technological backwardness among the tribal communities. The steps to improve education, the effective and critical instrument of empowering the tribal groups.
Yes, it can be improved. Your first part was about nutrition and food problems.
Yeah.
They have their own traditional crops, the traditional ways of agriculture. So there should be programs to aware them and encourage them to adopt new and hybrid and high yielding crops, qualities, and modern agriculture. So that can be the only option available, because their traditional ways are in fact insufficient to uh, for the fulfilling their food and nutritional requirements.
Right.
As most of them come under below poverty line, so there are government schemes which they are provided with the food items, so that can also help. But actually, their traditional systems should be encouraged to include modern techniques and high yielding hybrid crops. So for that, awareness is must, and then there should be incentives from government. There are certain non-governmental organizations also working in different directions, so they can also be involved. They can also be roped in to spread awareness and encourage them to adapt to modern technological innovations to make without. Hello.
जी sir, बोले.
Hello.
जी sir, बोले. You are audible. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, sir, you are audible. Please carry on. जुनैद सर, आर यू देयर? प्लीज कैरी ऑन. आप बोल रहे थे कुछ.
उनका माइक डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया है.
हाँ, और चलते दोबारा से. सर दोबारा से म्यूट चले सर. और
is there any other questions or
Yeah.
other we can no close the session?
Yeah, sir. Other question is only for the Junaid sir was there, that how you can protect their indigenous lecture. Otherwise, nothing else.
So we will send the question to Junaid sir and
Yeah,
then
right, sir. Okay,
put
sir.
in the
Okay,
chat
okay,
or
sir.
comment box.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you everyone. So we should close the session tonight.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Junaid sir. Thank you, Stanjan sir, for being with us and just give us this opportunity to interact with you people. So I'm thankful to each and everyone on behalf of UBA, IIT Jammu, the PI, as PI Institute, GGM Science College. Thank you so much and have a good day.
And thank you, Dr. Riya Bhaumik and Dr. Anna Sharma ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
For your wonderful start and moderation.
Thank you, sir.
We are thankful to IIT team and especially Dr. M. Junaid Ajit sir for your wonderful speech and talking about the Sina, Gaddi and Gujar community. How they are living their life. You describe very well about their socio-economic conditions and how community influence their culture, their life. Thank you, Dr. Junaid sir. And thank you so much, Professor Sri Stanjin, sir, you very well described about the Ladakh and Ladakhi community, how they are living their life, and listening you, it was very eye-opening for us, how we can protect them, how we can appreciate them for their life. Thank you everyone.
So can I request everyone to please switch on their camera so that we can have a photograph? Or you are taking, everyone
Yes,
should
yes.
just, yeah, please आप on कर ले सब लोग एक photograph अगर
Yes.
यहाँ से layout में Vinod Kumar, Sanjan Vera, Jyoti Bhatt ma'am, Pandey sir, please switch on your cameras. Start your video.
Yes.
So can you take it from here? मेरे यहाँ तो अभी कैमरा आया नहीं किसी का. Only I am looking my face only. I'm sending the screenshots to ma'am or Jyoti ma'am also. If I'm getting okay sir. Vinod Kumar sir. ज्योति मैम आपका फेस नहीं आ रहा है, थोड़ा सा कैमरा ऐसे करें. ज्योति मैम, विनोद सर, या ज्योति मैम आपका ऑफ हो गया शायद.